If you've been holding back from starting a cleaning business because you keep thinking to yourself, why would a business ever pick my company to win the contract when I couldn't tell you the first thing about cleaning? Then I've got news for you that is going to flip your whole world around. Not knowing how to clean isn't a thing that's holding you back. It is your single biggest advantage. Not just that, the people who actually do know how to do the cleaning inside and out, well, a lot of them are the ones who end up trapped. I'm dead serious about that. In this video, I'm going to show you why knowing less about cleaning, how it can actually make you so much more money, and why being a so-called expert is often the fastest way to build yourself a job that you cannot escape. Here's the thing almost nobody stops to think about. Being a great cleaner and being a great owner of a cleaning company are two completely different skill sets. And I'm telling you from experience, they're not even close. The great cleaner walks into a room and asks, how do I clean this really well? The owner walks into that same room and asks something completely different. The question is, how do I make sure this gets cleaned right, whether I'm here or not? They may seem close, but they're not. One of those questions is about doing the work. The other one is about building something that does the work without them being present. It's the exact same reason why the best chef isn't automatically the best restaurant owner. The best mechanic doesn't always make the best dealership owner. The best programmer is rarely the person to run the software company. See, being great at a craft and being great at the business are two completely different games. And if you're new here, my name is Mike Mack. I have built and sold 2 cleaning companies. I am now building my third from scratch in a brand new state. For the last 6 years plus, my team and I have helped hundreds of working professionals build their own high-ticket cleaning businesses from scratch with no experience around their 9-to-5s. And I'm telling you right now for absolute fact, knowing how to clean is nowhere near the top of what actually makes this thing work. Let me tell you about my best friend's father. This man cooks the best Italian food I have ever had in my life. Now, I'm not exaggerating that. It's unreal. And for years, everybody around him said the same thing. George, you gotta open up a restaurant. People would line up around the corner to taste your food. And do you know what he did? He listened. Want to know what happened next? It made his life 10 times harder. The restaurant never took off the way he had dreamed it would. And honestly, it almost feels like a crime because that man is that gifted in the kitchen. But here's what it taught me. Cooking, as important as that is, it's just one slice of running a restaurant. One slice, pun intended. The rest of it is marketing, positioning, hiring, managing great people, leading a team, keeping the numbers straight. See, this man was a world-class cook who got handed a completely different job, running a business. And the cooking, the one thing he was best at, it couldn't save him. I'd actually take it a step further. If you were opening up a restaurant, you might be better off not knowing how to cook at all, because then you would never be tempted to live in the kitchen. The only thing that you'd really need to know is what the food is supposed to taste like when it's done right. And cleaning works the exact same way. You do not need to know how to clean. You need to know what clean looks like when it's done. That's it. Picture 2 people walking through the same office, sizing up the same job. The first one is the cleaning expert, and he sees exactly what you'd expect. Carpet, trash, bathrooms, chemicals, the floors. He's already cleaning it in his head. Now the second person walks through, he sees something completely different. They see the schedule. They see the labor involved. Who's going to be accountable? They're thinking in terms of how many quality control checks per week, the recurring contract, the profit at the end of it. Same office, same walkthrough, but only one of these people is actually looking to build a business. The other one is looking at a to-do list. And I know all this because I have lived the wrong version of it. For the first third of my cleaning career, I was the guy with the mop. I did the work myself and it never paid off. It made me a little money on the side because deep down, that's exactly how I was treating it. I was the expert doing the labor and it kept me small. And it wasn't until I put the mop down and started acting like an owner that any of it actually started to work. Now here's the part that really should set you free. In all the years I've been doing this, every walkthrough I've ever done with every business owner, you know how many times I was quizzed on, how do you clean this? Basically, never. Maybe a handful of times somebody asked me what kind of disinfectant we use, which you could easily look up in about 10 seconds, but that's about it. And you know what the shame of that all is? I actually have a mountain of cleaning knowledge that I could rattle off at any point, and I have never once needed it to land a client. And it goes actually further than that, because for a long stretch, I wasn't even the one doing the walkthroughs for my company. See, we hired a team member to handle them. And early on, I'll be honest, I was really nervous. What if a client asks her something technical? What if she gets caught up and stumbles her words? So we prepped her as much as we possibly could. And you know what happened? They never asked. Not once. Because that is not what the client actually cares about. What the client wants to know is one simple thing. Can you get the right people in here and make sure my office is handled so it's never their problem ever again? That's the whole game. They're not hiring a cleaner, they're hiring someone who makes the problem disappear. So let me really drive this point home on why not knowing how to clean might actually be the exact thing that saves you. The single most dangerous place to end up in this business is the cleaner for your own company. And that trap is sneaky. You start doing the cleaning yourself and then you realize, hey, it's actually really good money, and it is. Especially if you get 3 of the right types of offices and you're doing all the cleaning yourself, the money can be amazing. But that right there is what makes the trap, because you can't scale it. You can't build anything that lasts, because the whole thing lives and dies with you. It needs you for everything. But the moment you decide that cleaning is not your job, the second you make the choice to instead put real cleaners to do the work, you've handled the biggest part of what makes this business succeed. You stop building yourself a job and you start building something that you own. And that's the part the expert never sees coming. The person who knows how to clean is the one who gets pulled towards doing the cleaning. Their skill is a magnet. It drags them right back into the work. And that's what keeps them small. You, on the other hand, you've never had that pull. Your lack of experience is the very thing that's going to protect you from that. So I want you to sit here for a second and really think about it. And that's this. The thing you're most worried about, not knowing how to clean, that's your insurance policy in this whole thing. And that's what's going to make sure that you build a very successful business. So the real question was never, do I know enough about cleaning to actually do this? It's instead, am I ready to stop thinking like the person who does the work and start thinking like the person who owns the thing? If you answered the latter and you want to build a high-ticket cleaning business, the kind with strong profit margins, a handful of great clients, great cleaners, without the headaches, click the first link under this video in the description. Have a call with my team. See how we can help you start this thing and build it around your career so it never, ever threatens to take it over. If that's interesting to you, but you need to know a little bit more about this thing before you ultimately have that call, that's cool too. Watch this video right here. I'll see you over there.